double check that we can do requests from the audience. Can someone request to speak, just so we can make sure that function's turned on? Cool. Thanks. All right, legend. Gotcha. Thanks, guys.
Waiting for Phil.
Mate, how good's the sports moment announcement that went out earlier?
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that. So there'll be Jacob and myself will be there, and the Sport Moments skull holder is coming, and he's bringing someone, and then we've got 3 double passes. So I'm looking forward to connecting.
Well, I'm a skull holder, so I think I'll click the.
Yeah,
I'll
go for
react
it,
with the
mate.
giveaway bot.
Go for it. And then afterwards, we've got the Dead Diamond Society wide Sport Moments event, which is going to be in the city, Sydney City somewhere. So it's going to be fun as well.
Yes.
Where I signed off on
What's
the
that
budget.
going to be? Is that going to be dinner, drinks, just meet up?
I think it's going to be
Casual?
nibblies, and drinks. So we'll be putting on a bit of a tab so everybody can come along and have a few drinks
Ooh.
on us. You'll be there, Lexi.
Yeah, I'll make the trip up. It's a short
Nice.
one from here. I was actually looking at the Dragons schedule today, and the Storm guys don't come to town this year. The Dragons play the Storm in Melbourne, but they're not. Melbourne's not coming up here, so I was a bit bummed that I won't get to watch them play. Might have to travel up to Sydney to see them.
You're Dragons, man.
No, I'm a Storm fan, but
Okay.
I mean, because I'm in Wollongong,
Yes.
it's just convenient when they come to town. I don't have to go so far, but
Yep.
maybe I'll check if they're going to go to Sutherland or because that's not too far. Cronulla's not too far from here.
Yep. Feel you there?
Hey boys, how are we?
Very
Good,
good.
mate. How are you?
Going well. What's happening?
Not much. We're
Oh,
just discussing the Storm schedule.
Oh, we got some Storm fans here. Who do you guys support?
Yeah, I'm Melbourne
the
based, so it's
Storm.
definitely Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Well, I'm second team Storm.
Oh,
I'm a
First team.
big Bulldogs fan over here.
okay.
nice.
Yeah, I wasn't an NRL fan at all growing up because I grew up in Tassie, so
Oh yeah.
rugby's pretty much non-existent down there.
What's the sport in Tasmania?
AFL. Yeah, definitely
really?
AFL. Yeah, I'd probably say basketball now would have definitely overtaken NRL, especially because they got a team. But yeah, when I played for Melbourne, I had a roommate who was from Sutherland, and so he taught me a lot and got me on it. And we used to go to the Storm games a lot, so I'm on board the Storm now.
Yeah, mate. Well, it's not a bad team to support. You would have been going down there watching, the big three go around.
I was, yeah, it was cool, and I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think Melburnians in general appreciated how good that team was.
No way. I think that helped being in Melbourne too. It contributed to them being so good because no one really cared. So there was no added pressure.
A little bit of flying under the radar.
Flying under the radar big time. Like in Sydney, you get caught up in, partying and whatnot. With so many teams out here and everyone recognises it, but they're under the radar, like all business.
Especially running at the same time as the AFL. I mean, that's what AFL's like in Melbourne or Victoria in general as well. So, running the season at the same time as how many teams in Victoria? 8, 9?
I think in Victoria is it 10? I think it's including Geelong.
Yeah, that's like New South Wales teams in the NRL. There's about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
You said the other day, Phil, your brother-in-law was playing, was it?
Yeah, my girlfriend's brother is Lachlan Ilias. He's the South halfback.
How did he go the other night?
Yeah, they lost, but it's only his second game, so they're actually playing Melbourne tomorrow night. So if any of the Storm boys are listening, just take it easy on him. It's his third game. Direct all traffic to the other side. Yeah, but he debuted last year. He did well. He scored a try in the first 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
for his
nice.
debut. So that was a cool moment. But yeah, I got to watch him for the first time on last Friday. We went up to Brisbane.
Very cool.
Yeah, very very cool to see him out there.
Nice.
How good. All right,
Cool.
well, I'm gonna shut up now and hand it over to Julio, and then you guys do your thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Julio.
So
Let's do it.
That's his alias, Julio.
my
That's his
alias.
alias, Julio.
Yeah.
The reason I got Julio as a nickname was it's pretty stupid. There was so my
Your
my
Tinder
name.
profile, right?
What's that? My Tinder profile.
Isn't that what you go by on your Tinder profile, Julio?
No. So
Are you a single man, Julio?
no, I'm not. I've got a partner
He's locked up.
locked up. So the way I got Julio was one of so the Man Show used to be on TV, and they did like a skit with like a kid, and he was just like asking like people as they walk past like outlandish shit, and there was a Mexican guy that walked past, and the kid said, "Hey Julio, do you want a cerveza?" And then ever since then, my mates that I used to work with, they just called me Julio for forever. So that's how I got it. But I took it back off them, so I call myself Julio.
Yeah,
Own it, mate. Own it.
Yeah,
yeah. Nicknames that aren't forced are the ones that stick.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And they're always shit names too.
Right. Yeah.
So speaking of nicknames, how did you get Phantom Phil?
Oh, well, it's sort of a self-given name. So originally when I started like my Instagram account doing designs, I was called PJC Graphics, which is just my initials. Not very creative.
Yeah,
And then I sort of rebranded myself in like 2019, and I just like the name Phantom. The actual definition means like a figment of the imagination,
yeah, nice.
and that sort of really relates to like my creative field. And I was like, fuck, that's sick. And I wanted the logo to be PC, which is my initials, and Phantom Creative obviously is PC as well.
Yeah, cool.
So it just fit really well, and I was like, fuck, it's a cool name, so I just ran with it.
No,
Self-given, but I got to pick.
that's a cool origin story for sure.
Yeah.
So obviously, like Phil, you're to introduce you, you're the creator of all these 2,500 amazing skulls, including all the one of ones and everything. And like
Yes.
everybody that's seen them has given props to them. I guess my first question for you is, tell us a
Mm-hmm.
bit about yourself outside your life of design. Like everybody wants to know about founders. So what can you tell everyone?
Outside of design, well, I've given you a bit of a sneak peek. I'm a massive rugby league fan, massive Bulldogs fan. That was like my first dream was to play footy full time, playing the NRL. You know what? Sometimes it doesn't work out, so
Yeah,
gotta take different avenues. But like after my league career, something outside of design. After my league career, I wanted to sort of keep fit, and I fell in love with like martial arts.
yeah.
I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 6 years now.
Oh, very
Really
cool.
went
What belt you up
dived
to?
into. I'm a blue belt, purple
Nice.
belt on way. If things work out well, I should get it like next week.
Oh, that's very
So
cool.
I'm due for an upgrade. So started off like doing a bit of boxing, and then fell in love with jiu-jitsu. Been doing that ever since, and mixed in a bit of wrestling as well. So I'm like a design nerd by day and ninja at night.
Funny.
So outside of the design world, I'm just like I love being active.
Yeah, nice. And you work with Sandor at the
That
gym as
air
well.
locker, yeah,
Yeah.
air locker training. That's like most of my time spent there. We're opening up a studio in Maroochydore this week. Or it is open now. The grand opening's on Saturday, so we're flying up to the sunny coast and opening that up. And I go there and I vlog the whole thing, film it all. So airlock is massive for me. Every day I'm working on that brand, building it up.
Yeah, that's very cool. So tell me a little bit more about your life within design. So how long have you been designing for, and how did you get into it?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to discover it at a youngish age, about 15. So I've been doing it for roughly like 9 years this year.
Wow.
So it all started like just being self-taught, really, like just doing it for fun. Never really had any intentions of making money off it or making a career out of it. It was just something I sort of did, like in my spare time, as a young teenager.
Yeah.
So I started my Instagram account. Back then 9 years ago, just doing like edits of footy players, and they're very shit, but I still have them there now. If you go on my Instagram, I've never deleted anything.
Nice.
So I could see the actual like the cool thing about my job is I can see the progression like through the years. You compare it from today to back then. So I started doing that just for the fun of it, and then funny story, like there was this company that made like custom eskies.
Yep.
Back like in New Zealand,
Okay.
and they sent me a DM, and they're like, this lady's, her nephew's 21st is coming up. She wants to design esky, but she wants you to do it. And I was
Okay.
like, what the hell? Like, someone's actually asking for me. Like, I'm just doing this for fun.
Wow.
Anyway, it turns out that the guy whose birthday it was Anthony Milford, who was at the Broncos at the time.
Oh, very cool.
So that was like, and then I did the job. I got paid for it. I got, the photos of, Anthony Milford shouted me out. And I was like, oh, shit, like I could probably, that was the first realization that it could be like a job for me.
Yeah.
I never really had that realization. I was like going to do business or something in uni and, just go down that path. But it was actually my mum that pushed me into it as well. Like I've always been a creative kid, so she pushed me down that path. And
Yep.
then after school, after year 12, I signed up to the TAFE course and did my diploma of graphic design there for a couple of years. And at the same time, I was interning at the West Tigers.
Yeah, cool.
So doing design there. So, when I got that gig, my goal was to work for the NRL. Like that was the first sort of indication that I could combine both my passions together of design and footy. I never thought that would be a possibility. So working at the Tigers, I set the goal of one day working for the NRL.
Yeah, awesome.
Hey, before you go on, sorry, a couple of people have asked Phil. Since you mentioned your Instagram, what's your handle?
It's Phantom.creative. Phantom.creative.
Cool.
Go through and look at how shit I was 9 years ago.
I'm sure it's still good,
Come
mate.
on.
I'm sure it's still good.
Yeah, look at the rise.
So you mentioned obviously you worked for the Tigers and you wanted to work in the NRL. I know. So tell us a bit more about some of your previous work. I know the boys in the founders chat were talking about ISC and the Storm jerseys and stuff last night. Tell us a bit about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I had that NRL dream, and I left this part out. I actually got not offered, but there was a job offer. Like they were looking for people at 2017. I think I was still at TAFE, and I applied for it. I was like, oh, fuck it, let's see what happens. And I got down like to the final stage. Obviously, didn't get it. I was very young, and then not long after that, I got offered to go to the Broncos as their designer.
Yeah.
And I was just finishing my course up, and at that same time, I got an offer to join ISC, which is the apparel brand.
Yep.
So I took that to stay in Sydney. I wasn't really ready to leave and work interstate as my first job in the industry.
Mm.
So I was working for ISC. It was a cool gig, man. Like, got to design the jerseys so there was like maybe 4 designers in there, and we all got delegated teams. So I got to work with the Tigers, the Storm, the Roosters, the Maroons in State of Origin, the Kiwis, and a few AFL teams as well, like Collingwood, Port Adelaide, St Kilda. Like I had to look after all those teams for a few years. So,
jeez, how old were you at that stage?
I was 20.
Wow.
2021.
Not many 20, 21-year-olds are designing, like the Collingwood jersey or the Maroons jersey. That's crazy.
Mate, it was weird. Like, literally my first week, I designed the Tigers kit, like their home and away kit. So the person who was there already, I was I was initially working for free to try and get my foot in the door.
Yep.
And the person there, they were getting ready to present the Tigers jerseys that week. And I was there like on work experience. So they're like, "Oh, throw a few concepts together. We might put it in, right?" And I just did it that day. They put one of the designs in. That's what they picked.
Wow.
In the presentation. So I got the job not long after that. So I was, like 19, 20, working on all these teams. And, the cool thing is, with the Storm in particular, in 2020, they wore, all my kit. Because I designed all the merch range, your training tops, your jackets, everything. And, they won the comp that year. So the Storm, in 2020, I like to feel like I didn't contribute to them winning, but they look good doing it.
You're a part of it, mate, for sure.
yeah. So that was a cool experience. Getting to do that, it was sort of a bucket list thing. Like, it's very cool to see my work, out on the field.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. It must be such a head spin to, like, as a 20, 21-year-old, to see something that you've designed, on TV, 7:30 p.m. on a Friday night prime time. Like, that must just be the craziest thing.
It was even weirder, like, going to the games and seeing, like, little kids, wearing my stuff. Like, that was me once.
Yeah.
And guys like Cameron Smith and Billy Slater retired around that time.
Yeah.
With Origin. And because I was looking after the Maroons, they wanted to do a tribute jersey for both of them. So I did, that was pretty cool as well, doing like the tribute jersey for Billy and Cameron. And I remember like they were retiring and their kids were wearing it on stage.
Yeah,
and I'm just at home thinking like, this is weird,
Yeah. Yeah, I
This is
can't even imagine.
Very cool experience.
Do you look at the jerseys of like past years in terms of like, like something like Collingwood's very similar year on year, but like, the Storm jersey changes around. Like, did you kind of look at, 96 or like something like that in terms of working it out, or like how did you go through the process?
I always used to look at the past and the history and sort of create a modern version of that.
Yeah.
So with the Storm one in particular, I remember, so it's the 2020 jersey if people want to go look at it. I remember I combined I picked 3 years where they won the comp, and I combined all those designs together and made one. But the actual one that I pitched to the Storm, they wanted to change a few things, so it wasn't exactly the way that I did it, but they got the gist of it.
Yeah.
But with Collingwood, like the AFL teams are very traditional, as you know.
Yeah.
So that was more the off-field stuff was the fun bit, like creating all their training kit, and because that's obviously more different. So
yeah. No, that's really cool. That that backstory of the 2020, the fact that they won that year, and your jersey started off at least to be a mixture of like previous winning one. That's a really cool story.
Yeah, and it was so weird, like how everything's worked out, and now like I'm working with the Storm boys, and it was just have a bit of a connection with Melbourne there. So that's
awesome.
Why they're my second team.
Yeah, that's my next question. Is how did you get into vintage mode? And obviously, Sandor's former Storm player. How did how did that all come about?
Yeah, it all happened in lockdown. It was a weird like few months there. So actually, like I mentioned before, my dream was to work for the NRL. After I left ISC, I found the guy that was like the social media manager, and I DM'd him and I sent him all my work. I was like, look, I want to work for the NRL. He's like, yeah, we're in. And I started, like, I achieved that dream. So I was working freelancing with the NRL, working with Paralympics Australia, actually, at the start of 2020. And then lockdown hit, so a bit of my work got, no, it didn't stop completely, but it was just less than what I was used to.
Yeah, it was a tough time for all sporting
creators. And obviously with the NRL season being canned, like there wasn't much NRL work to do, so I just spent my time like just upskilling, and I upskilled in the form of video editing.
Yep.
It's something I've always wanted to learn, and I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos and just started playing around and teaching myself. And I bounced on an opportunity to do a vlog intro for Kalen Ponga and Connor Watson. I was starting their 257 collective. Did that like vlog intro for them, and then Chandler saw that, and then we started talking. He was like, "Oh, we got this 4 point thing happening. Can you do the logo?" So I did the logo for that. That turned into like a contract sort of work, doing content for 4 point, and then like a few weeks later, like a few months later, me and Chandler built like a pretty good relationship there, and we were working good creatively, like bouncing ideas off each other. And he came to me and he said, like, I've got this idea of vintage clothing. And it was so weird because when I was working at ISC, I felt like I was a bit in a box. It was a cool job, but I just felt like I was restricted creatively.
Yep.
And I had these dreams of starting my own thing and starting my own. And it was, funnily enough, it was actually vintage clothing, because
Wow.
that's where you could put your graphics on the shirt. It wasn't like simple. It was you know big, bold, and like really creative, right?
Yep.
But I never capitalized on it. It was just an idea. And then when Chandler came to me with that, I was like, bro, you wouldn't believe, like, I've had this idea in the pocket for like 2 years, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. And we just started it from there. He had a merch contact through the Storm
Yep.
down in Melbourne there, and like we found the shirt, and we just started. The first thing we did was the Storm 2020 championship shirts, which like sort of
Yes.
blew us up.
Yes. So, what are some of your? Obviously, you've done heaps of collabs and like, you worked on
Mm-hmm.
heaps of cool designs, like the Tupac one recently and that kind of stuff. What's your favorite design or collab that you've done so far with
Yeah, we've done
Chandler?
some cool ones. Last year was pretty cool to do HP on it
Yes.
through the Hour group. We did that one. That was pretty cool. We've done a few with like Addo Carr, Latrell. Um, One that's really memorable is the Brandon Smith one, the Champ Cheese.
Yeah.
That flew, man. After it was just the perfect storm. After they won the comp, Chandler got that video of him. The one with the trophy. I know Philly cheese. Like that went viral.
Yeah.
He's there in the vintage mode kit, got the goggles on,
Yeah.
and we dropped it. We dropped the Champ Cheese shirt like a week later, and that just flew. Like that's still to this day our most popular, like by far.
Yeah.
But
It must be so good to you have an idea for a design like that, and then it just all come together, and
yeah,
fly off the shelves.
no, it was crazy. But that's like a testament to Cheese. He's just such a character. Like he made that happen. But I think that the biggest one, like literally a year in, not even, I never would have thought that we collab with Fox League
Yes, and that was a
during
really
their during
cool.
their yeah, that was like real unexpected. Like they came to us and they had their retro around '90s theme, and they wanted to do shirts, with the former players who are now presenters at Fox,
Yeah,
sort of a drop around them, and when they won their premierships back in the day. And I'll tell you, mate, that was one of the most stressful projects I've worked on. A lot of like real tight turnaround, like a lot of work, design and video wise as well. But we got it done, and yeah, it was very cool. And the money went to charity as well, so that was very rewarding in the end.
yeah. It was like men's health type charities. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So all the players that we collabed with, all picked a different charity. So it
very
went
cool.
to about 6 different ones, which was very cool.
That's awesome.
Very, very cool to be a part of, and to see our name and our logo being spoken about on TV. Literally, not even a year in, was like trippy, man. Sweet.
Yeah, mate, you've achieved a lot. Like you've achieved things that people probably haven't achieved in their entire lifetime in terms of getting on TV and all that kind of stuff. Um,
Yes,
is
it's
there
bizarre.
anyone that you look up to in the space? Like, is there anyone that you're like, oh, I want to be like that guy
Yeah,
in the
well,
space?
I always try to be like original, try to be myself, but the one like sort of designer that I've always taken a lot of inspiration from is Tyson Beck.
Yep.
I feel like I relate to him a lot. He's Aussie. He's sort of the first person that I saw crack it like internationally. and take his work in sport and just build a brand within himself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like a lot of designers, especially at that time when I was young, I never thought it would be possible. It was always like you work in an agency, you work here, you work there. But he just said like he went against the norm. He wasn't scared to be different, and like I take a lot of inspiration with that. And he's very innovative. Like with his trading cards now, like he's the first guy to do that. Do these collabs with these big players like Giannis and Steph Curry. Like I look at that and I think that's what I want to do with vintage, mate. I want to do deals like that with huge stars and just build that brand up. Because he's the man for me.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about those collabs is, he can do he can do a Patty Mills Brooklyn Nets card without having Brooklyn Nets written on it anywhere, without having
Yeah.
NBA written anywhere. He's able to make the design so cool that you don't actually notice that it's not like a Panini card or anything. Like it's a skill just to be able to do that.
Because he's done the deal directly with the player. It's got nothing to do with the league or the team.
Yeah.
So he's just like, he's a wizard, man. Like I've got a whole folder of his work. When I'm stuck, I just go look back at that. He just like gives me a lot of inspiration. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, for sure. My next question is, how different was it to design NFTs versus what you've done in the past?
Yeah, it was. It was all new experience, the NFT game. I've never, like, even before we started it, I obviously knew what NFTs were, but I wasn't really in and amongst it. So it was all new for me. It was a big learning curve, but I really liked it because it was just a real blank canvas. There wasn't, like, remember when we were talking, like, there wasn't really a brief. It was just literally do whatever you want. So it was so broad, and I was like, oh damn, what do I do? So
Do you want to tell the story of how we came up with the name and the design? Because you're instrumental in kind of in that process.
Yeah, help me out a bit because I won't be able to remember it all. But
So
I think because we were originally trying to go with like a club, something club.
So it was club and it was diamond. So diamond obviously came from diamond hands.
Yeah, we had the diamond hands chat, and I didn't know much about that, but I knew that. Like, I thought diamond was a awesome name.
Yeah,
and then because we were going for that whole club vibe, like that whole community, we wanted to build that community, and then we were brainstorming different words, landed on society.
Yep.
And then we're going to go Diamond Society. And then I took inspiration from the movie Dead Poet Society and made it.
Yep, correct.
And then that's how the skulls came from the word dead. I was like, we got the name now. Now what's the artwork going to be? And I just thought skulls were cool, tied in with that whole dead theme.
Yeah, for sure. And then I remember you, Shandor, and Jacob met in Sydney.
Yeah.
I think it was. And you sat down and smashed it out.
They came over to the house and we just sort of brainstormed and started working on stuff. I was like, playing around with them in Photoshop, and then they, let's do this, let's do that. And we came up with the first sort of concept and then started building the traits from there.
Yeah, for sure. Explain that, because most people won't understand how a generative art project is created. Do you want to explain how it is, and like if there's any technical stuff, I can add it on the end. But do you want to explain how that kind of formed?
Yeah, Jacob was the wizard with that. So what I did was I created the initial base design and we were happy with it. And then from there, it's all layered. So in Photoshop, you have your layers that you work with. So I would do, like, for example, I'd have the skull as the base, and then I'd go, purple skull, green skull, create all the different colors out, and then create the background colors, all the different traits, the animal print, diamond eyes, and they were all different layers. So, like, I have this Photoshop file with bloody a million layers in it. and then I sent it to Jacob. He exported out, like they all export out as PNG files, just all standalone by themselves. And then Jacob puts it through the coding program, and the computer literally just creates 2,500 different variations of what I've created.
Yeah.
But we also altered it through. You can change the percentage. So if something's more rare, we can say like red diamond eyes is 1%, and then that'll be obviously the most rare one. So we could change the rarity of each thing, and then the coding program like did it. Jacob did it in front of us, and it was like the Matrix. Like all the numbers were moving, all the code. It's crazy. Because I initially thought I was going to create 2,500 NFTs.
That'd have been a pain in the butt.
I'm not going to leave my desk for a few months here. But it was very good, man. It worked out very well.
One of the things.
I got a follow-up question for you. Sorry, Julio.
Yeah, go for it.
With all the layers and stuff, Phil, that you got to create, how much time does it take? Because obviously you have to make sure that with all the random possibilities that the algorithm puts together, how much time do you have to spend to make sure that all those traits actually line up? So you've got a combination of different traits, and because you do the layers or the traits as an individual layer. But what if you have you've got like the laser eyes, and what if they don't? When they're laid down on top of the skull with
what if it's somewhere else?
Teeth or something, like, how do you make sure that they all? Do you have to do like a test run to make sure that they all sync up well, or what's the?
Yeah, no. So I had it. So when I built them all out, I built them on top of an existing skull, so the positioning would be right. It wouldn't clash with something else. And I made sure the colors were. I stuck with like a pink, purple, green, blue sort of palette. So in that case, when everything mixed up, it would still look good. Like it wouldn't look pretty out of the ordinary or ugly. It still had like some uniformity to it.
Yep. Yeah. One of the things I remember Jacob had to do, and it was possible to do it with coding, was that we actually, like you say, for instance, if you had a black background, to make sure you didn't have a black border. So that was like one of the things
that stuff.
Yeah,
so it doesn't clash, so you don't have like the black was the worst, but sometimes if you have one that's like all purple, for example, it actually looks cool. Like a purple skull on a purple background, like it actually that was a concern that it would all be the same color, but it was actually, if it's not black, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting process to go through for sure.
Yeah, the whole thing from the start till we did all that, like it was all so new to me. Like from designing jerseys and content online, like it was just a whole different world.
How about the obviously we had like the sport moment skull and the Shandor skull, etc. Which was your favorite one out of all those one of ones that you did?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I think it's HP on this one.
Yeah.
Me and him spent like a good hour or two like going over it, and we're just going back and forth, like designing it. Like we just made it perfect. He out of everyone, he put the most effort in like making sure his one was perfect. So I think HP Honest was good. I like Kalen Ponga's one as well. Personal favorite.
Yeah, I actually, all of them are pretty cool. Like the girl power one's pretty cool.
Ellie's one, that was very cool.
Yeah. The thing about, I was looking, because obviously we did the charity auction of the HP on it skull last week, and I looked at it a lot of times during that process, and I was noticing, because it's got like, instead of the G for Gucci, it's got like the 6 in it.
Yeah, a lot of detail in it.
Yeah,
even on the grills, it's got HP on it, on the teeth, on the grills.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put a lot of detail in that, a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Were there any one of ones that didn't make the cut, or were there any like crazy requests for one of ones for people that didn't quite make it across the line?
No, I think from the top of my memory, I think they all made it. They all made the cut. There wasn't one that was too crazy. Actually, no, I changed my mind. Tino Fa'asumala'awi's skull was my favourite, the Spider-Man. I forgot about that one. That was gangster. That was my favourite for sure.
Yeah, we could tell you
and HP on it are equal.
We could tell you'd had some practice by that stage, because
yeah, by that stage I was like full balls deep into it.
When we were doing the founders skulls, so they were pretty basic compared to the ones
because that was early on.
Yeah.
Well, by the time we got to the end, I was like, I designed, so many of them. So I was just trying different things. So that one, that one was one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously, the merch is something that you're heavily involved in, and
Yes.
you know, everyone in the chat's always asking questions about it. So, what's
Yeah.
the what can you tell the group about the merch drop?
Well, I don't know what date it is yet, but very soon we're going to do a merch shop with our board ape that we purchased. So
Yep.
we've got tees and we've got hoodies that we're going to drop in black. So this will be the first one, but we're going to do more. So we'll do it a bit more frequently. I don't know if we'll do it once a month or once every 2 months, but there will be merch drops around the board ape specifically, and like we'll change things here and there. But I really want to make an effort very soon to do just like a proper DDS merch drop. Like put skulls in there, put our logo in there, our branding. It's gonna be real cool.
Yeah, and I think from a tech point of view, I was talking to the team today, and we've almost completed. I think by Monday it's going to be complete, but we've almost completed a Shopify website where
Oh,
everyone will just be
beautiful.
able to log on, um, connect their wallet, and
Mm.
it'll come up with all their skulls, and then they can basically claim for every skull that they have. They can claim either a T-shirt or if they've got five skulls, then they can get a hoodie and a T-shirt. So
Yeah, that's sick.
that's almost complete. So once that is done, which we're expecting to be Monday, we'll do a snapshot of all the skull holders, and that will
Mm.
be what it's kind of based on in terms of what people can claim. But we'll
Yeah,
have
that's
that
sick.
info for everyone next week.
I've seen one of the holders started selling his own merch as well with
Yes,
DDS. That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. There's t-shirts, there's hoodies. I'm getting some socks from someone, so it's all going on. And
Oh, stocks is a good idea actually.
yeah, you should grab some. I think Paps wore a pair to the game last week.
During the game.
Yeah,
Yeah. Paps was kitted out. He even had the turquoise boots on.
yeah, the turquoise boots on and the mouth guard, but you can't see it. It says DDS on it. So
Yeah, on the middle.
tomorrow when
Yeah.
you watch the Storm game, everyone should have a look at his mouth guard because it actually says DDS on the front
Mate,
of
at
it.
this point in time, the DDS mouthguard is a good luck charm. I'm just going to put it out there.
True. I mean, they
I
played.
think everyone should start rocking it. Jerome with a DDS headgear, we'll shut the gates on that.
Oh,
That's Dally M.
I reckon so. And there's big rumors that that's going to be coming soon. So
I might have to design it.
yeah, for sure.
Hey, Phil,
Yo.
Jacob's asking if you'll tell the people what your mum gave Sandor when you were at his house designing the skull.
Oh shit! So Shandor was a bit hungry, and my mum gave him a chocolate in the shape of a penis. And let's just say Shandor wasted no time in finishing it.
One bite.
Mate, he inhaled that thing.
Hang on. Why was there chocolate in the shape of a penis there to start with?
Oh mate. So I was in the Hunter Valley with my mates the week before with a off-season trip, and we went into this like chocolate store, and that everyone's looking around, and I found this dick chocolate. It was the last one left. Had to buy it, of course. Brought it home. No intention of eating it, just like a bit of a joke. And then my mum fed it to Shandor.
Sandor took it down, no problem.
He took that thing down.
See, mum's got a bit of a sense of humor, or
Yeah, she does. She does. She is funny like that.
awesome. Do you want to throw your questions out to the floor? I haven't been looking at the AMA. Waxy, is there anything in there?
Yeah, just one question that we haven't covered yet. It's just from South Brisket. Just said that a DDS jersey would be cool with the person's personal skull on it and the token or the skull number on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Good idea for merch there.
That's a very good idea.
we'll have to work out the mechanics of that in terms of personalization. But yeah, it would be. I'll definitely
There
rock
you
one
go.
of them.
Bring the old skill set back.
Yes. Is there any? There's a few other questions after that. Waxy, have they all been covered?
Yeah, they have. There's a couple about merch, which we just covered off just a couple of minutes ago. We've got a request to speak though now from Matt. Hang on, jump up, Matt.
Here we go.
I'm getting him up. Easy. Up you get, mate.
Yo, Matt. Matt with the Lord Society NFT.
You there, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah. Ask Phil a question. What was the inspiration of actually starting your Instagram account as a designer?
Oh shit! All right. Should I reveal your identity?
Do it as you wish, whatever you want.
Well, the person who initially gave me the motivation to start was my brother, who is Matthew here.
Yeah, just wanted the credit. Thank you.
Mate, he just comes in for a cheap credit, then he'll bounce.
Nah, thanks for that one.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Fuck off.
Thanks, Matt. Do we have any non-family members that want to ask questions?
I got a question for you, mate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think you're on mute.
Yeah,
There you go.
here we go. So at the start, you said that a lady reached out to you from New Zealand and wanted a custom esky, and you were pretty pumped that someone would ask you for your own work. How does it feel now that you've got this community of over 1,000 people who are saying, "Oh, my skull's so sick," or "Oh, I saw this skull on the floor and I want to buy it," and "Oh, this one's so sick, it's got like a leopard print skull." Like, how does that make you feel to see all these people in the chat kind of talking about how much they love these skulls that are your work?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I never would have thought of it, you know. I got it a lot during the years, like with the jersey stuff. You know, you see the criticism online, and just like, the job itself is very, people are very opinionated, and they always, it's subjective. So people, they like it or they don't. But yeah, it's crazy. I never really stop and think and like smell the roses. I'm always on to the next thing. But it's very cool to sit back and see that, people are very appreciative. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, nice. I think that's probably a good way to be, especially in a space that you're in. You know, like you said, like it's all subjective, and people always have their opinions about, what the jerseys look like. But if you focus too much on the negative, you're gonna just you get bogged down. But I think you got a good mindset where you just say, like, I'm on to the next, and I enjoy what I do, and I like what I produce.
Yeah, it's literally all I'm doing it for the fun. Like I said, this never started as a money grab. I never wanted to do this for the money. It was always just out of passion and love. And like, I've had plenty of, people not like my stuff over the years. I've had that sort of conditioning, going through college, and, not everyone likes your stuff. And that you build like a sort of a thick skin, and you just don't really care anymore. But yeah, it is nice when people do appreciate it.
Yeah, cool.
So what is next for Phil? Obviously,
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? I wasn't going to say anything, but I have got the green light to sort of announce that I will be doing a collab project, allegedly, with the man Tyson Beck.
oof,
Leaks.
I can't say too much more.
That's big.
I will say that the DDS holders will have first access to what we are dropping. That's all I can say.
It's very cool.
So that's coming very soon. That's a buzz in itself. Like I said before, Tyson was a big inspiration for me. So, to be able to do this with him is very cool. Aside from that, We have also another announcement. Vintage Mode NFT is also dropping next. A lot of people have been asking us, when's the next merch drop? But it is not a merch drop. We're going to be doing our own VM NFT, which has all the utilities in the world attached to it. Like it's ridiculous. So more
Very cool.
info will be available on that soon. We'll start posting about it.
Yeah, for sure. Check out the Vintage Mode channel in the Discord. I'm sure there's going to be heaps of stuff in there.
We're gonna start pumping that up. I think we're gonna have our own Discord as well. So that's like all in the works. That'll be the next thing.
Awesome.
Other than that, still carrying on with Airlocker. Working on that real hard and the expansion and yeah, a lot of very cool things coming.
Awesome.
Roadmap 2 with DDS as well is big. So we have a few cool events lined up that we haven't announced yet, but people are gonna love it.
Yeah, and as we discussed at the start, there's going to be an event in Sydney on the 9th of April. Some lucky people are going to be able to go to the game that day, but everyone is invited to the event afterwards. So
Where's the event?
It's going to be the exact location hasn't been sorted out, but it's going to be in Sydney.
Yeah, cool. You can all come my house party.
There was some.
We can all eat dick chocolates.
Yeah, we got an array of dick chocolates you can have. A canapé.
Yeah, there was some conjecture it was going to be somewhere in Darling Harbour, but it's not completely confirmed. So I don't want to promise anything, but it'll be somewhere in that area.
How good's no lockdown now? We can just do these events and no limit.
Exactly. Or even I can fly to Sydney from Melbourne. So back 6 months ago that wasn't the case. So I think
I know, like a few years ago, you went. It's very unusual to say now.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's no other AMA questions, then maybe we'll leave it at that. But
yeah, beautiful. No, thanks for having me. It was very, very fun.
Yeah, no, definitely learnt a lot from that, and I think I've seen a few names in the audience of other designers. So I hope that there's been some people that have got something out of it.
Oh, for sure. I hope that I can do my small bit and inspire maybe the next generation or any young guns coming up. So just like Tyson did to me.
Yeah, awesome.
And maybe you get to work with me one day like I am with Tyson.
Yeah.
You never know, mate. The universe is the limit.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Lexi.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff, Phil. Good to hear all that, man. That was wicked.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
See you later.